Amen, what it is. This is Deem, and I am your host, and this is By Any Means. Y'all already know, man. Hit that Cash App. Y'all already know $ Deem by any means. Hit that super chat. Y'all see that heart with the $. You know, you can press that at any time your heart desires. You know what I mean? Show your boy some love. Um, I want to talk about Keyshawn Davis and Jermaine Ortiz. I made a video earlier speaking on how Teofimolopez has nothing to lose in this fight and everything to gain. And the funny thing is that Keyshawn and Jermaine Ortiz is on the undercard, and Keyshawn is pretty much in the same situation that Shakur Stevenson is. Pretty sure Keyshawn Davis is going to be the favorite in this fight. I'm pretty sure that most people are going to pick Keyshawn Davis to win this fight. But the crazy thing is, they are both in there with guys that are high level boxers that are above a step above any competition that they probably have faced up until this point. And the craziest part is they probably have the most pressure that they have had, even against lesser opponents. So to me, Keyshawn Davis is in the same situation that Shakur Stevenson is. He has all the burden to perform, especially with all of the things that's surrounding Keyshawn Davis' name. Y'all already know about the WWE match, the steel chair match that they had backstage, and him missing weight on purpose, and a bunch of different things that's going around Keyshawn Davis's name that I think that people aren't. They looking for him to perform. They looking for him to show out because he's disappointed in the past, leaving the people of Norfolk in the bliss, not main eventing, letting Abdullah Mason get that shot. So Keyshawn Davis has a lot of things that he needs to prove. He has a lot of things that people are, he has a lot of pressure on him in this fight. And then he's at a new weight division. He let a lot of his team go. I mean, his words, not mine. He let a lot of his team go. And we don't really know how all of that's going to affect him. He said that he's on a path towards God. And, I respect any man that's, looking towards the faith and trying to become a better human being. I didn't think that he needed to cut off his whole team. I think that he needed to take some accountability and realize it wasn't his team, it was him that was causing um, all of this chaos and all of this nonsense that's going on in his life. His team had absolutely nothing to do with that. But that's just my personal opinion. But Jermaine Ortiz has everything to gain from this fight again because Jermaine Ortiz is a fan favorite. He's a guy that people think is an underrated fighter. He's a guy that's easy to root for. He's a guy that people think beat a guy that's on the main event. He's a guy that people think beat Lomachenko. And like I said, I think that he has everything to gain from this fight. He has zero pressure. Jermaine Ortiz has zero pressure on this fight, and Jermaine Ortiz is by far the best opponent Keyshawn Davis has ever fought. So it's just crazy how the irony. Somebody, I mean, me personally, I'm picking both of these guys to win these fights just because I'm being a little biased. If I'm being honest, I'm being a little biased because I like both of these fighters. Y'all know how I feel about T.O. I do like Jermaine Ortiz, but I think that Keyshawn Davis has more upside than Jermaine Ortiz. And I think, I root for Keyshawn. I want to see Keyshawn do well, just like Shakur Stevenson as well. So I'm picking Shakur and Keyshawn to win these fights because, in my opinion, I feel as though they have to win these fights. Uh, they can't lose these fights for a couple reasons. Because one, both of these fights are fights that people think is a step up in competition for them, and that matters because now it's like, all right, when you go up against the best opponent that you have ever fought, look how it transpired, and you didn't look as good. So that could be a problem as well. I also think Jermaine Ortiz is a better opponent, like I said, than anybody that Keyshawn Davis has fought up until this point. So it's something that they both gonna have to deal with. It's a lot of pressure for the two brothers to make good on their promises. You know what I'm saying? They both have a lot of questions. They both have Things surrounding their name that people questioning. Shakur Stevenson, as far as is he going to be able to take TO pressure? Step up in competition, being the face of boxing that he self-declared himself as if he wins this fight. I think it's a lot of pressure for both fighters. Keyshawn Davis, all of the stuff surrounding him as far as his brother losing, him acting a donkey and showing out. And that being one of ESPN, last fights that they had. I mean, top ranked last fights that they had on ESPN. A lot of that stuff plays a factor. Um, I really feel like I said, the two brothers, I feel as though they have all the pressure to perform in this fight. And that means something because they both are stepping up in competition with the most pressure that they have ever faced. So Keyshawn Davis and Shakur Stevenson, they get full credit if they win these fights because of all of the variables that I laid out. I think these fights are going to be a lot closer than some people think it is, but a lot of people think both of these fights is going to be close. So that's where Tio and Jermaine Ortiz play a factor at because it's not like a lot of people are just counting them out all together. You know what I mean? And like I said, which is very dangerous for Keyshawn, which is very dangerous for Shakur Stevenson, which is very dangerous for everybody involved. But now Shakur Stevenson and Keyshawn Davis show out in this fight. If they, get the knockout or dominate performance, they got a lot to gain from that in that way. But if it's close, I'm just telling y'all how it's going to go in both fights. If it's close, you're going to be having a lot of people saying Jermaine Ortiz won. If it's close, you're going to have a lot of people saying Teofimolopez won. And it's going to be very controversial. I'm just telling y'all, I'm warning y'all, I'm giving y'all a heads up about how this boxing thing go because of all of the variables that I laid out and the pressure that Keyshawn and Shakur facing. And that's the other thing. They fighting on the same card. Just a lot of competition between each other. They both want to perform. Little bro on the card, big bro on the card. Um, they the tag team, champions of the world. You know what I'm saying? So you got that pressure as well. Keyshawn is in a very similar situation that he was just in with his other brothers. So you ain't gonna hear that nowhere else. Keyshawn Davis is in basically the same exact situation, even with more pressure. So how's Keyshawn Davis gonna react with not only getting ready for the fight, not only stepping up in competition with somebody like Jermaine Ortiz, and not only Jermaine Ortiz actually being a great opponent, how he gonna react with all of the pressure to perform from the disappointment that he put out there? How is that gonna play in his mind? Where's Keyshawn Davis at mentally? You know what I mean? And I'm just telling y'all, I think Teofimo Lopez understands this because that's why he kept saying mentally. Mentally, I think I think Teofimo Lopez also understands that that Shakur has all of the pressure. And I know it sounds crazy because T.O. got a better resume and he done been here. Like all of the pressure should be on Teofimo Lopez, but it's not. I keep telling y'all about how things should be versus how they is. The truth of the matter is most people think Shakur is a better fighter than T.O. Most people think that everybody T.O. beat, Shakur would beat. Um, Same goes for Jermaine Ortiz. There's a lot of people that think Keyshawn Davis would beat Lomachenko. There's a lot of people that think Keyshawn Davis would beat Teofimo Lopez, myself included. So I'm not even going to act like it's not myself included, myself included. So um, that's the reality of the situation. The reality of the situation is they are the two guys that have to perform, that people expect to perform, and they facing the best competition they ever faced. And when you put all of those things together, well, ladies and gentlemen, we got to fight. Ladies and gentlemen, we got an event. Ladies and gentlemen, we got a lot to gain and a lot to lose from this fight. But I will tell Shakur and Keyshawn this: if y'all show out and y'all show up and y'all dominate these fights, that's the only thing you have to gain from this fight. A close fight is going to be controversial. It's going to be open panels. It's going to be a bunch of different things with people saying y'all lost. But if y'all beat both of these opponents clear and dominate in fashion, you have a lot to gain from it. Y'all already know what this is, though, right? Dean, by any means. Make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you hit that super chat. Make sure you hit that cash app. And most importantly, hype me up. Press that hype button at the bottom of this video for your boy. Y'all already know, man, and I'll get with y'all.